Welcome to Flicks and Travels, your go-to channel for the love of movies and wanderlust. Here, we traverse the globe to bring you behind-the-scenes peeks and in-depth explorations of your favorite movie filming locations.
Someday, I'm gonna make great machines that fly. And me and my friends are gonna go flying together into the forever and beautiful sky.
Quill, you gotta hurry! I look around at us, you know what I see? Losers.
When I first came on to play Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, the Guardians of the Galaxy were like, you know, this ragtag squad of nobodies. Everyone thought that they were scraping the bottom of the IP barrel.
Whoa! Oh my god.
Quills, this is basically Gamora's.
It was sort of a lesser-known comic within the Marvel world. I remember we all went to Comic-Con and showed a little footage from the first Guardians, and the whole audience kind of watching it, digesting something new. That's what it felt like.
The footage we were able to show, I think people really liked it, and so I'm hoping that we can continue to make great stuff out here, and that we turn out a movie that, you know, that people like, because we're all working really hard.
It was an incredibly original tone for a superhero movie.
I can't believe you had that in your purse! It's not a purse, it's a knapsack!
Tonal shifts have been a part of this franchise from the beginning, from when we start with young Peter Quill losing his mother and screaming, crying, going out, there's a spaceship, oh my gosh, it's science fiction. And then we come to him dancing through a temple, playing and singing. So it was important for me to allow the humor and the characters to be funny.
What are you doing?
Dance off, bro! Me and you!
But it was also allowing the emotion to really play out and not be afraid of it, not be ashamed of that emotion. And this film is a story of the self. So it's innately more intimate because of that.
Everyone around me dies. My mother, Yondu, Gamora.
I did feel like this movie is really me, you know? And Marvel was great in that they trusted me to be me, like they always have. But I pushed it a little bit further, I think.
It's really about all of these characters putting trauma behind them to become their best selves. And what James has done with Volume 3 brings everything full circle.
You know, I'm still not who you want me to be.
No. But who you are ain't so bad.
The Guardians themselves each need to fulfill their own lives in a way that requires them to be separate from one another. So the third movie is Quill learning to be okay on his own. My mother died in front of me when I was 8 years old, and I have been running ever since. I'm gonna need to take some time.
I think Chris is so good in the movie.
What do we know about where Rocket came from?
Nothing. He won't talk about it.
He's so emotionally raw and vulnerable. And that's one of the things I always liked about Chris Pratt was his ability to be this kind of big, charming guy, but also to be really vulnerable.
You were everything to me.
Chris is such an amazing energy to have on set.
What are you doing?
Oh, let's start again.
He's a perfect number one on the call sheet, meaning that person usually sets the tone and it trickles down. Zoe's arc as Gamora is one of the most interesting arcs in the whole MCU. And her arc as Zoe Saldana through the course of the 3 films is also really extraordinary. She's always been fantastic. She's even more present, more focused than I've ever seen her.
She's unrelenting.
We need your hand. And it's your choice whether it's on your body or not!
What are you doing?
She was never gonna fall for that.
I do find this Gamora very exciting, you know, because she's very independent and she's really wild.
Let's take 6.
There's a spunk to her that, you know, Gamora never really had.
You know what? I don't care. Just drop me off with the Ravagers and you go do whatever it is that you want to do.
So her coming back is definitely thrilling.
Drax, the Destroyer.
Throughout the films, Drax says to let go of all of his anger and all of his rage.
You weren't born to be a destroyer. You were born to be a dad.
Now he's found a new love in his new family, and I think he's really just wants to enjoy life and get through life and help people along the way.
I can't imagine anyone else playing Drax. It's totally David. Has
been Dave since the moment he walked in and he and I screen tested together. Like, everybody knew it was gonna be Dave.
Sad.
Just anything, right? If we flow into the dialogue, that's fine?
Go in the flow, yeah. There's nothing wrong here.
I'm just gonna stand here and growl at you.
Okay.
Brr.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looks great.
He has this like quiet, calm energy resonating from this gigantic body. And there's something so interesting about that. And also James Gunn like laughs every single time Dave will deliver a line as Drax. You just hear him at the monitor laughing his head off.
Damn it, Mantis! Why don't you ever think?
Are we pretending to be angry again? Mantis, you asshole!
With Nebula, even from the beginning, it was clear that she wasn't just a stoic villain. She was deeply disturbed and hurt by her upbringing.
I just wanted a sister!
And now I get to explore this version of the character that is sort of healing and becoming the person that she was meant to be.
It's been beautiful to watch that transformation, but also Nebula and Karen could not be any more different from each other. And that's just a testament on how just greatly she transforms and becomes this other entity.
That's ridiculous. Do not bring me into this. Knock it off!
What?
Don't look at me like a lost puppy needing a soft place to lie down.
I didn't say anything. Totally different person. Her look, her spirit, her voice completely changes. She's bad to the bone. I mean, she is incredible.
I love you all. I do. But my whole life, I did whatever Ego wanted. And then I did whatever the Guardians wanted. I need to go out and discover what I want. This third Guardians of the Galaxy, there is much more of Mantis, and she's been around people much more too, because in the second one, she's very awkward and not really knowing what to do and how to behave. And now it's less of a softer character, you know, for me. It brings a lot of funny moments as well.
What she does with this character is so fun, and she has such a sweet innocence about her, but also she can be a sarcastic little shit.
We had people on set for both Rocket and Groot. My brother Sean played Rocket, and honestly, Sean was as important a member of the team as anybody else.
In the first movie, it started with me getting a phone call from my brother James saying, hey, I need somebody that I trust to read these lines, but I don't know how it's gonna work. We don't know what it's gonna look like. And I just sort of showed up in London, and when we started rehearsing, it made sense for me to get in a very low crouch position and talk to the actors from there, because I knew that what the actors wanted was to look down and see eyes.
Oh, we're getting out. And then we're headed straight to Yondu to retrieve your bounty.
Sean's spirit really lives in Rocket. I mean, he, for years, has been doing this sort of unappreciated work of playing Rocket on set for all of us. And he's an incredible actor.
There's ships just down that hall. We can get to one. I know. I can pilot it. And then we'll fly away together, the four of us. Just like we always said. Okay?
Actors don't, you know, they aren't doing monologues. They're acting off of somebody else.
I told you a million times you keep your grimy raccoon hands off my Zoom.
I told you a million times, I'm not a damn raccoon.
And that tennis match of acting, you need somebody else lobbying the ball back, and that's what Sean did. And then, you know, a lot of it was just the dynamics of how Rocket talked and who he was, and this angry thing that's a part of who Rocket is, and the sadness that's a part of who Rocket is. I mean, to me, that's what drives Rocket is. He's got this unrelenting loneliness and sadness. That's where his anger comes from.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Stitch him up and transfer him in with the rest of Batch 89.
What audiences care about more than anything else are the characters that they fall in love with, you know? And so I wanted Rocket to look like a real animal. I mean, the idea of this is that they took an innocent little beast and turned him into something that could walk and talk and shoot a machine gun and make machines. And the little creature didn't necessarily want that. There's still a part of that little creature that is surprised that he's able to think in the way he is. You know, the comic books, sometimes Rocket gets a little too cartoony for me, and I didn't want that. I wanted him to look like a little animal that was manipulated and changed into this thing.
The name's Rocket. Rocket Raccoon.